So today I'm going to be talking about the Western drought and heat wave of 2021. So where did this happen and what occurred here? So this event occurred in 2021 and it was in the western part of the United States. This drought and heat wave was very intense across the western states. The north was also affected as well because it hit all-time highs in temperature. Millions of people were negatively affected by this event. For example, Portland reached about 116 degrees and Seattle about 108 degrees. Farmers were impacted because the drought and hot weather had dried out lots of the vegetation in the west. In Lake Oroville, California, the hydroelectric power plant was also shut down, and this was due to low water levels. This is the first time that this had ever happened. This information was from National Centers for Environmental Information. So what was the cost of this in lives and dollars? So the total cost was $9.1 billion, and there were hundreds of deaths caused by direct and indirect heat just in Oregon and Washington. The deaths in total were around 229. So in the past 20 years, how many times has this occurred? So there has been about 18 droughts in the past 20 years, and they are increasing every year according to the charts from the National Centers for Environmental Information. So what is the cost of lives and dollars in the last 20 years? So the cost has been about 160.8 billion and the amount of deaths has been about 735, with 2021 having 229 of those deaths, which is about 31% in total. This information came from the National Centers of Environmental Information. So what kind of conditions have to happen for this type of natural hazard to occur? So according to NASA, droughts are when climate causes frequently dry weather that happens long enough to cause catastrophic issues like damage to vegetation or shortage of water. This is caused by low precipitation over a long interval of time. Things like climate change, temperatures in the ocean, jet stream changes, and also changes in landscape can cause this. Well, climate change does affect this. Well, when the temperature rises, this causes more evaporation. This gives us less water in our soil and dries out our vegetation. In regions where it tends to be wetter, we see more rain. This is from Yale Climate Connections. So how did climate change affect this? Or how does it? How do I have proof of this? Well, modern climate change is mostly caused by humans, especially when we are talking about things like temperature change. This is a huge issue in today's world. We know that the emissions of greenhouse gases like CO2, which is carbon dioxide, are causing global warming changes, which means that the Earth is heating up. One way we are really seeing this is with the trend of glaciers. Glaciers are disappearing all over the Arctic, and the concentration of greenhouse gases in our atmosphere is going up, which means that the greenhouse gases are heating up our atmosphere, which is causing a higher temperature and the glaciers to melt. And this is from our Earth Science book. So what are some other things besides climate change that are leading to this event? Well, our excess use of water can definitely have a huge impact on droughts. Our use of water from things like underground wells can make our soils drier, and our excess use of water can also leave us limited to the sources that we need to combat the increase in temperature. This is also from Yale Climate Connections. So in the future, how can we better prepare for this? There are many things that we can do to prepare for droughts and heat waves in the future. One thing is that we should always keep up with drought conditions in our area. In drought-prone areas, we should try to replace traditional lawns and vegetation with plants that are drought-tolerant to reduce water demand. We should also try and conserve how much water that we use. If we have a leaky faucet or some other kind of water leakage around our house, we should make sure we repair that, because we could be wasting hundreds of gallons of water a year. We could also install green infrastructure to allow rainwater to seep slower into the ground. We should always have emergency water supplies around our home just in case. The last tip is that we should try to use less energy in our home. This can prevent things like power shutoffs or even blackouts during events like a heat wave or a drought where we need our power the most. All of this information came from Yale Climate Connections. And here is my works cited page.